everyone, welcome back to the 2021 Frostbite Open, brought to you by Auburn Opelika Tourism. Run Productions bringing you coverage once again. Felix Vega coming to you along with Mr. Matt Dollar.
Hey, what's up, Felix?
Not much, Dollar. Thanks so much for joining us again, man. We've got the final round here, the front 10. We've got a battle on our hands. We see Mark Poole is kind of pushing away after the first round. What are your thoughts after watching that first round action?
Boy, Mark really came on strong there in the middle point of the round and then finished strong as well. His putting is looking great, and he's got a 4-stroke lead, so these other guys are going to really need to do some work if they want to catch Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. You see the card there. We've got the same card as we had during the front round. So Mark Poole, Jared Hendersen, Neal, and Jacob Chesser. And we've got hole 1, 288 feet. Tell us about it, Matt.
Yeah, once again, this one is a really good righty sidearm hole, but you will see a lot of guys who prefer the backhand to just go ahead and throw a backhand anhyzer, usually with a mid-range. I'd guess we're going to see Mark Poole pull out a Comet here to start the round.
Yeah, he was throwing that Comet all over the course during round 1, so definitely a safe bet to see it once again.
All right. Good luck, y'all. Good luck, man. Good luck.
Good luck, guys.
Do it again, Mark.
These guys are battling it out for almost $500. Even though this is a C tier, they always put in a nice little bit of added cash, so there's definitely some money on the line.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mark kind of pulled this one over to the right during the first round, and he's pretty much had a similar miss here the second round, so almost a mirror image or a duplicate shot of what he did the first time.
Yeah, I do believe he'll still have a circle 2 look, so he could still start with the birdie. You know, that would be a good statement to bang a circle 2 putt on the first hole when you're the leader, so.
Yeah, you know something about winning this event. I mean, when you come into this second round with a lead, what's something you're looking to are you looking to make that statement early on?
Oh, absolutely. On this course, you want to start out and grab these birdies to begin with. Hole 1 and 2 are very gettable par 3s, and then you play a couple very gettable par 4s. If you can get 3 or 4 of the first 5 or 6 holes here, you're going to have a good round, as long as you don't do anything crazy. So it's always good to start out with these easier holes to begin with.
Yeah, very good point. There was a good shot there by Jared Henderson. And we've got Jared Neal once again breaking out that Lucid Warden.
Go. Go in. Go in.
He's thrown it.
God.
Wow.
Almost throwing it
Grabs
right.
a little chain music there. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Let's see the lace line on that one. That was one heck of a drive to start the day.
He throws this disc so well.
Yeah, and it just holds that line the entire time. Never deviates, just right side, tickles the chains, and then kicks away. Luckily, it didn't kick him too far away, so he still got an easy birdie look. Mark not able to secure the birdie there to start the day, but he'll have an easy par. But we see Jacob here putting the pressure on. He came in 4 strokes back, and he's picking up an early birdie and getting a straight.
You know, Jacob started the first round really hot, so I would not be surprised to see him come out with the pedal to the metal again.
Yeah, a couple of these guys. Jared Neal had a nice run to finish out the back of the first round, and you see him starting off with a birdie and almost an ace, so these guys are coming after Mark.
Yeah, Mark gives one away right there to begin with on hole 1, and that's definitely not what you want to do, but when you have 4 strokes to play with, it doesn't feel quite so bad.
Yeah, absolutely. So the field tightens a bit here, but like you said, there's some gettable holes, and hole 2 is definitely one of those gettable holes like you were talking about.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are going to throw an ace run on this one because you want to make sure you get over the water, but if you don't hit that basket or one of those trees, you probably have a death putt coming back.
Yeah, definitely a scary one. It's right there in front of you. You want to run at it, but like you said, if you miss that backstop, you've got some scary times ahead of you.
Yeah, for a hole that's only 249 feet, there's definitely enough things going on to put a little pressure on the player here. So it's not just an easy standard birdie, and messing this hole up doesn't necessarily mean you're just walking away with a par either. It can definitely turn into a bogey or double if you run the wrong putt or catch a bad break and roll away into the lake.
Yeah. And you see Jacob there putting on a beautiful forehand, checks up right by that tree, and he's going to be inside the circle with an easy look for the birdie. And there's the skip job, and it just does sit in bounds. for Jared.
It seems like if you hit the water right before the bank, you skip up and stay almost every time, but you definitely don't want to hit where the land meets the water because it bounces back almost every time.
Yeah.
That'll work. That'll work.
And good reaction there off the rocks for Jared Neal. I didn't think he knew how to throw 250 feet since he throws everything so far, but he checked that one up nicely.
Yeah, for Jared Neal, the best way to throw 250 feet is to throw it 270 feet and hit something and bounce back.
And Mark showing a little nerves here, maybe. I mean, he's coming in with the lead. That he kind of shanked that one a little bit off to the left.
Yeah, miscue on the first hole, and then I think everyone put the disc really close to the basket without a scary putt here on the second hole, so it kind of put him in more of a pressure situation, but he steps right up and makes that putt.
That's how you make a statement.
Yeah, you know Mark's feeling good after that one.
Yeah.
Whatever bad thoughts he had about missing hole 1, they're gone now. He just made a statement with that putt.
Yeah. You can see Jared Hendersen trying not to fall backwards into that water. That's not how you want to start the round.
Yeah, lucky it's a dry day. If the ground's really wet out there, it'd be really tough to get a stance on the edge of that lake. It's pretty sloped.
Yeah. And he's able to convert here, so it looks like we're probably going to see a star frame from the lead card here. Jacob with a little bit of cleanup to do.
This is definitely one you would expect the lead card to pull the star birdie on.
Absolutely.
Good old-fashioned star frame.
And there you have it. So the lead card making short work of that short hole, like they should. So not much changing in terms of the scores. Everybody gets the birdie. Everybody moves up one step. Alright, a big thank you to Auburn Opelika Tourism for being such a big sponsor of this event year over year. We're stepping up to a par 4 here on hole 3. Dollar, what's the play?
You want to go long and straight right off the tee. You got the OB path and beyond on the left side, and then you've got the Mando pretty deep on the right side. So you're really just trying to punch it out there in the middle and cover 350 to 400 feet so that you don't have a scary driver second shot. If you throw a really good drive off the tee here, you can end up with a putter and mid-range second shot, and that's ideally what you're looking for.
It seems like there's always some kind of wind on this hole also, which definitely plays a factor when you're standing on that tee.
It makes such a big difference what the wind is doing here, because I've played it here where it's been a raging headwind and you're just trying to get to that short tee pad, and then as you see right there, Jacob was able to throw it way past that short tee pad.
You see Jared Hendersen here is throwing this pretty much picture perfect. Just needs to check up.
Yeah, that's definitely the scary line, but that's the way to play this hole. He has just made it very short. I'm sure he's going to just chip an easy sidearm on that second one.
And Jared Neal has turned this one over. So the first round, he was way over by the ditch, almost nearly at the road. He's turned this one over again, but this time he'll have a little bit of an easier angle to attack that Mando, which kind of caused him to go OB the first round.
Yeah, he's the only person I've ever seen have to really deal with that Mando, and this is 3 consecutive rounds I've seen him have to deal with that Mando. He just has so much power.
Yeah, it is crazy. Fun to watch and crazy to see. Mark here with a little bit of a short drive, but he's put himself back into position here to at worst get up and down for the par.
He played that very safe, and that's kind of what you have to do when you don't get long off the tee on this hole, because it seems like a very scary shot if you're throwing high-speed driver and you're trying to finesse a little flex shot over the path. He played the nice, safe hyzer into the middle of the fairway. You know, if he can get lucky and make an 80-footer, it's all good. If not, he'll just jump out under the basket and walk away with an easy par.
Yeah, when you're short off the tee like that, I mean, he has a cushion with the lead. Does it kind of change your mindset there? Or are you thinking more, all right, just don't beat yourself at that point?
I think a lot of good players would definitely embrace the fact that they have a lead and not, push it right there. I might would still go for it. I might would see the other side of that coin and think, I've got 4 strokes, like I can be aggressive and I have nothing to worry about, so I'll definitely throw a good shot. But I think it's really the trick is just to make it whichever way you want to do it, to make it seem like
Discs
that is
Iron
giving you
City,
the advantage.
home of Alabama's largest selection in disc golf. Although they have dynamic discs in their name, they've got every manufacturer you'll need for your game. So whether you're looking for new or used discs and all of your disc golf accessories, head on over to Dynamic Discs Iron City.
Thank you so much, Dynamic Disc Iron City, for being a sponsor of this event as well. Check them out if you're in the local area. So see these guys all kind of pitching up here, and now we're just trying to clean up for their birdies and pars. Good birdie hit there by Jared Hendersen.
Yeah, starts him off 3 for 3, and like I said, he threw that great drive, so he was able to just throw a nice easy sidearm and get an easy birdie there.
Yeah, like you were saying, that's the scary route, but it also cuts off more distance because you're taking that more direct route to the basket.
Absolutely. This is a par 4 where you really only need one really good shot. If you throw 2 good shots, you can get a birdie, but if you throw a really great drive, or if you don't throw a great drive, and you end up throwing a great upshot, you really only need to get one of the 2, as long as you don't mess up throwing a bounce on the other shot.
So Jared Hendersen now in solo second place, moving up and starting 3 for 3, like you said. He's on a heater.
Yeah, he's got Mark's got him by 3 now, and it's the closest someone's gotten to Mark, so we'll see if Mark adjusts.
Yeah, we're taking a look at hole 4 here. Par 4 at 680 feet. Water comes into play. What's the plan on this one?
This one, a lot like the last hole, you want to get really far off the drive so that you don't have a scary second shot, because you have to challenge either the lake on the right side of the fairway, or you have to challenge the natural out of bounds that's circled up all the way to about circle 2 short of the basket on the left side. So you want to go far off the tee so that you can save yourself a really scary second shot.
Yeah, and Jared has put this one in good position here. He's looking to continue pushing that left side, but he's going to be short of it. Now he's going to have probably that forehand look, I would assume, from that side.
Yeah, I think he's going to really like that shot because he has a great forehand, and it's going to put him at probably about the same kind of distance as the forehand shot on hole number 1, maybe even a little bit shorter. So he's already thrown that shot this round, and I think he's probably going to embrace that line and just go ahead and go with it. It's really hard to go around the right side when you're already that far down the fairway and on the left side.
Yeah, the left side just makes more sense to attack with that forehand. You see Neal got caught up in that tree there, and Jacob Cheshire putting this right in the middle. I'm getting a little bit of a weird roll, though. And still rolling. Well, he's going to have the
some high entertainment value there.
Yeah, I was wondering if he was going to stay in bounds. Meanwhile,
it's
Mark
going to end up pushing. It's probably going to push him over to that forehand style shot again. So
it looked like it.
It was going to fade. I don't know if it was going to.
Mark put that just on a nice low line the entire time, and let's see what Jared's got here. He's probably got 450 or so or more.
It's definitely not a spot that I would try and go for the basket, and because the thing is, if you don't go for the basket from where you're at, then you're having to lay up way short back, on this side of the lake. So you still are going to have work to do. With Jared's power, I think you should definitely go for it from here, and at worst, throw it deep into the wood line.
Oh, he's going for it. He has a Raider in his hand, and has gone 60, 70 feet further than he thought he was going to.
Ooh, if you get that deep into the woods, it's actually really tough to get back out and then get over to the right where the pin is without going down that hill, and then there's out of bounds at the bottom of that hill. So it's going to be a really tough spot to get up and down.
Mark checks up on halfway down the hill, so he'll have a look there to still get the birdie.
That was an excellent shot by Mark. He was still pretty far out, so he had to throw the driver, but he trusted it and just going to give himself a nice birdie look after, taking the gutsy shot.
You see Jacob electing for that forehand line and making it work. He's in position for the birdie. Are you playing this side dollar off the tee, or are you thinking more staying on the right when you're playing this hole?
Well, I'm trying to throw it down the middle, and so ideally I would play the right side, but okay. 2 of my last 4 rounds I've ended up having to take the left side, which this previous tournament led me to a birdie throwing the forehand down the left side after my drive just ended up too far to the left. Okay.
And then we saw Jared Neal pitching out here. Jared to go 4 for 4. Wow, he is rolling.
That's a great putt. I was a little worried for him. He made it harder than he had to because he really had a very simple forehand upshot towards the pin, but he didn't want to hit that hillside and roll away, so he just aired to the right side, left himself kind of a death putt, but it was a great putt to make it.
That one splashes around and hops back out the backside for Jacob.
Sometimes it's hard to give 100% of the effort into it when you know that if you miss or if you short it, it's going to end up going down that hill. So I think a lot of times you'll see good players that haven't quite transcended that next level. You'll see them throw good putts in pressure situations that just don't quite get in. Yeah. And it's because if you're a little low, you catch nubs, and nubs are not friendly to making birdies.
Oh, yeah. You see Mark keeping pace there, getting a birdie himself and maintaining that lead of 3 strokes over Jared Hendersen. But we've got a battle on our hands moving on here.
Big clear the water energy. Big new disc energy? So whether you just chucked your favorite disc in the water or looking for a little wisdom on what needs to be the next staple in your bag, head on over to Dynamic Discs Iron City for your one-stop shop for all of your disc golf needs. Big Dynamic Discs Iron City energy.
All right, and we are back on hole 5 here, 275-foot tunnel shot, par 3, and this is a tricky one off the tee to get.
Yeah, you kind of have to throw with incredible touch if you're throwing a right-hand backhand. You have to throw all hyzer. It has to challenge this right side and then stand up while moving just barely to the left and then straighten and continue to carry straight for another 150 feet. For a 275-foot hole, this is very difficult. And if you miss a little right or a little left on that initial gap, it's really tough to get up and down.
Yeah, I think we only saw 1 birdie on the front 9. I'm sorry, on the front round, first round coverage. And you see Jared Hendersen electing for the forehand there, but he's pulled that one over and it never quite came out.
The forehand is definitely the safer of the routes because if you play the forehand shot, you've got a much bigger gap to work with initially. It may not be as easy to park it with the forehand, but you're going to avoid bogeys more than you will with the backhand errors.
Yeah, we saw Mark going with that Comet one more time up the gut there and just didn't quite flip all the way up and over.
It's a 275-foot hole, but it's not a hole that everyone's really expecting to get the birdie on.
Jared there going with that Warden one more time, and he almost got the tree kick into the basket.
He continues to give us ace run after ace run. If anything, Jared is giving us like all the highlights with the big putts and the ace runs and even the big numbers.
Yeah, at one point during this round, he said, I'm going to get one eventually. I'm going to ace something out here. Nice scramble skills there by Jared Hendersen to put himself in position to get up and down for the par.
Yeah, he ended up a little further in that rough area than I've ever seen anyone, actually. I was surprised that he had such a clean window out to the pin.
And Mark getting the unfriendly roll. He put it down about 15 feet from the basket. He ends up about 35 feet away, or 30.
I feel like right around the greens, right around the baskets on these holes, they're just so beaten in, and there's a bunch of roots as well, so it's really easy to get some extra ground action on a putt or an upshot that lands near the basket.
Yeah, we see Jared Neal there splashing out to the right side. Let's see if Mark can get this up and down. First kind of tick in the armor we've seen in the putt for Mark.
You know, he didn't throw a bad putt, like you said, to begin with, and then he catches that unfortunate roll that not only puts him outside the circle, it turns it into a really weird straddle putt, and he likes the hyzer putt, and it put that tree right in his hyzer line. He gave a pretty good bid, but that's a tough way to get that first bogey.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for sure. And it cuts the lead down to 2 strokes now. Jared Hendersen, even though he only took the par there, gained the stroke. All right, moving on to hole 6, one of the fun ones here. You've got this nice hillside to contend with, which makes for some scary putts, but what's the play on this one?
I prefer the hyzer flip with really beat-in putter. I like the beat-up Electron soft envy myself, but you're going to see a lot of guys, well, I think you'll see some guys throw a sidearm here because it just makes sense. That way the disc is finishing into the hillside instead of chasing away down the hill away from the basket. Once again, though, Jared is going to, make me look dumb, and I keep thinking he's going to throw a forehand on this hole, but he likes the backhand here.
Yeah, he's throwing a rattler here, which is a pretty flippy putter, but you wouldn't know it by that angle. It just kind of held the hyzer the whole time.
It's such a touchy backhand shot. I mean, it looks like it's simple. It looks like it's right there in front of you, but because of where the branches are, the way the wind blows, and the way the hillside works, it's very tricky.
Yeah, Jared Neal once again with that lucid Warden, putting it just on the left side, slightly downhill.
It seems like all of Jared's discs either land near the basket or hit a tree near the basket, but they never stay near the basket.
Yeah, it's all that extra zip he's got behind it. Mark going with the wider hyzer. If that's too low, it's going to get caught up in those branches over there.
That really looked like he had a great line on it out of his hand, but it just went to flat almost immediately from that hyzer angle. That must be his most beat up comment.
Yeah, probably. So
had it been just a little bit higher, he would have peeked over this and still had some kind of putt, but now it looks like he's in full scramble mode.
But he fights his way out cleanly, thankfully. He's going to be inside of 10 feet, it looks like, for the par.
Yeah, that was a solid shot to get out of there. It didn't look like he had a lot to work with, and he chose the low route, but it was a smart move to punch that sidearm out of there.
And there you see the highlight reel putt by Jacob Chesser coming out of that.
Wow, Jacob was not much further ahead of where Mark was, but he was on the clean side. That is an excellent putt coming out of there.
Yeah, you can't ask for much more than that. Picks up the unlikely birdie. That's a good one to get. And Jared Hendersen there just tossing up, playing smart.
That's surprising, though. He's got a chance to get one back on the leader, and it was probably only a circle 2 putt, but it is a scary green, and if you hit the basket, it's going to roll away. So, smart play to not give one away.
Yeah. And he just walked up too, and he just laid it up. So we thought he would have thought it over, but he just, as soon as he got to his lie, he looked at it and just tossed up. So he knew that was going to be the play. All right, we're on to hole 7 here. Pretty much a stock hyzer here, 360 feet ish, supposedly. Plays a little shorter though.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see anyone throw anything except for a righty backhand hyzer here, and they're all just trying to come in either in the center of this gap or just into the trees to the right and hope that it filters through. I think usually you're going to see 2 out of the 4 birdie it probably on this hole because 2 or 3 guys will get through and probably 1 guy won't.
And we've got Jared, and again the friendly tree kick there. For Jared.
Yes, very good second tree. That is absolute jail to the left there where he was heading. It's a tricky hole because he threw basically, a perfect shot, landed in the fairway with a putter, but the angle he was forced to throw it on skips him off the fairway, and without a lucky tree kick, he might not have had a birdie putt. So it's a very tricky green.
Yeah, the opening too, when you're coming in on this hyzer, like it's hard to kind of get in there completely clean without some kind of luck almost.
Yeah, it's definitely luck dependent once you're entering onto the green.
Yeah.
But you got to throw a good shot to get you in that position to begin with.
Absolutely. And Mark threw one of his comments here on the first round and just had a slow stand up. Looks like that's the same disc in his hand. This one not hyzering quite as much. And he gets that kick off with one of those last Guardians coming on in.
Yeah, if you're just a little wide right of the opening there's a lot of trees clustered together, and it makes it hard to get through. Now, if you see someone miss a little further right than he did, there's actually kind of more of an opening, and you'll see people get through more. But looking like we're not going to have only one actual birdie look on this hole.
Well, Mark's got a chance here. Let's see if he can capitalize. And he does.
Oh, great putt from Mark.
Especially with Jared missing that shot before him.
Yeah, Mark was kind of stuck in there. I was a little surprised that he had as clean of a look as he did after that drive, but it kind of forced him onto that hyzer angle that he already likes. So a nice circle 2-putt to make a statement from Mark.
Jared centers that one for his birdie.
2 birdies, 2 pars.
Looking that way. Jacob here.
Yeah, pretty standard on this hole, I'd say, for the lead card.
Yeah, Jacob nearly rang that one up too. Just hit off the top of the basket.
Jacob is a very good long-range putter.
Yeah. All right, so Mark expands to a 3-stroke lead once again, and that brings us to hole 8, a tricky shot. Par 3 at 410, but there's a couple different ways to attack this.
Yeah, I think mostly we're going to see these guys just throw a big turnover shot, but you might see a big forehand out of one of these guys as well. It's hard to get that much distance on the forehand because it's forced into an all-hyzer shot if you do. So that kind of distance uphill is tough to come by. But the backhand presents many more dangers because you can hyzer out into the road, or if you turn it over too much, you hit that hillside and you can cut roll down the hill, and that's right, back into the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's turned this one over. So Jared Neal went forehand the first round, and this time he has flipped it over and he's way OB.
Probably past spin high though.
Yeah, crazy, right?
He's gonna have to come way back though for his next shot.
He is, and Mark has sailed this one. There's that basically gravity kind of taking over, like you were talking about on that backhand, and forcing it OB.
It's very tricky. I mean, you don't really know until you throw the hole, but it just seems like everything pulls the disc towards that road.
Yeah, and Jacob going with the roller option, which he went with in the first round as well, and he's worked out. He's going to have a long look at 2.
Yeah, that's the same play I always take on this hole. It basically prevents you from ever going in the road out of bounds, and sometimes if it works out just right, you might get a look at birdie like Jacob will have, and he's a good long putter, so hopefully he can knock one in there.
Man, and we've got 3 out of the 4 going OB on this hole.
You know, when it's really windy out, it's probably not uncommon to see 2 out of the 4 go out of bounds on this hole. Just because it's so tricky to try and get it all the way up there, but it's got to be some nerves, and I think when you see the first guy throw it out of bounds, I think the next guy probably steps up and thinks, don't let that work you, just like fully commit to the shot you were going to throw anyway and not worry about going out of bounds, and then that just leads you to thinking about and then throwing out of bounds.
Yeah.
It's just, golf is so mental, and I think a lot of times these little things happen and people don't even acknowledge them in their heads, but their subconscious just, if you say you don't want to hit it in the water in golf, you almost always hit it in the water. So
absolutely. Jacob with a long bid there, but just a little short. He'll have an easy par putt, which is going to gain strokes on everybody in this round.
That's a rough putt from Mark. Once again, though, he's a hyzer putter, and he has that tree just blocking his perfect hyzer line. So he just continues to have these trees in the way of his putt. And, I would expect him to make that one most of the time. I think maybe, throwing out of bounds is probably just compounded things a little bit on this hole. But, it happens to all of us.
Yeah, we see a good cleanup there by Jared Neal. Jacob taking his par. And Mark's going to give one up, though. He's taking the double bogey there to Jared Henderson's bogey. So once again, we've tightened up, and now we've got a three-way tie for second place at 8 down.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that now we have Mark at 10, and then all three other guys are right there at 2 strokes behind him.
Not to be lost here, hole 9. This is a par 4 this year at 368, but there's also Adam Howard is making some moves off of the chase card at this point as well.
Someone told me that Adam Howard and Jacob Chesser were college roommates, and then they didn't play disc golf then, and then Jacob introduced Adam to it later on.
Huh. That is funny. Alright, so here we go on hole 9. This is a tricky one. It plays as a par 4, even though it's only 368 feet, but it's such a touchy shot to get down there.
Yeah, it's very tough if you're trying to get a 2. This is the play, basically, if you're trying to get a 3. You can also just throw a little backhand hyzer, and you're trying to just get a little bit lucky through these trees entering into the gap. But that right there is the shot you want to throw if you're trying to go for it. You need to throw all the power you got with a big flex forehand, and you still need to get a little bit lucky. But as you can see there from Jared Neal's shot, it is a little bit doable.
Yeah, he smoked a felon on that flex forehand line to get down there. A little bit of an unlucky roll there for Jared Henderson. He's going to have now a pinched angle to try to get into the mouth for that second shot.
His disc was entering a little bit short and caught that little bunch of trees that kind of sticks in the fairway, but had it had the opposite reaction off that tree, he'd be in perfect position.
Mark kind of saw that one off a little bit. He had probably the best look at the opening of the bunch.
He played the smartest tee shot. He played it the most like a true par 4. He truly pitched all the way over to the left. Didn't try to cheat any closer to the basket, and then left himself with a very doable but still kind of a tricky angle. And I think that fast green just let it get away from him. But he will still have a putt because he rolled through those trees.
Yeah. You see Jared Henderson just had no other choice but to throw that cut roller, and it just kept going down that hillside. And that is ideal. That's going to be a drop-in birdie there for Jacob.
Yeah, you can't throw that shot any better. I mean, if you make it, it was a worse shot. So that's literally the perfect shot he threw.
Yeah. Just pushing the right side there for Jared Neal, so he will not pick up the eagle on this one.
I tip my hat to him, though. He went for it. He didn't just lay up and tap in for the easy birdie. He went for the eagle.
Absolutely. He's got this left now for his birdie. Oh, no. Just splashes left.
What?
Ooh.
This bucket doesn't know
What is going on?
No, it doesn't.
Not a friendly Mach 3 reaction.
Yeah.
It was not receptive to a pretty soft putt that looked like it should went in.
Dang, man. Good putt.
This is a tough hole, and these guys are all in a battle, and Jacob feeling pretty good. He just dunks it under his leg for the birdie.
And Mark has to settle for the par, even though he did just about everything right on that hole. Just didn't get the good reaction on the actual chains. So we see now Jacob, one stroke back. big thank you to Infinite Discs for being a supporting sponsor of this event. We'll move on to the last hole of this particular video, hole 10, par 3, downhill 232 feet.
Yeah, not much to this hole. You can see the little white stake where the short pin was, and basically the gap kind of ends there, and you just gotta find a little hole in these trees. Even if you hit one of them right there, you still have a circle 2 putt. So the only thing you don't want to do is go screaming past the basket, because it's out of bounds right behind it if you happen to get over that fence.
Yeah, and we got Jacob leading the way here.
Oh, nice. Go.
Gets... What a skip. Wow.
That was beautiful. What a counter skip.
Oh, yeah.
Got to take advantage of that when that happens.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, that's a little early release and a bad kick.
Ideal putting place.
Yeah, even if you don't throw a great shot on this hole, you hope to have some kind of putt. That is not going to be the case for Jared.
And both Jared and Jared both over there on that right side.
Mark could really use a birdie to get under par at the end of this video here.
Oh, he's going to have some work to do after that tree kick. So not easy sailing here for Mark as he came in with that 4-stroke lead, and these guys have all put the pressure on him from hole 1, and it just hasn't stopped.
Yeah, that's kind of the way it works out here. You have to score early on this course, so if you don't get off to a good start and everyone around you does, it definitely feels like the walls are closing in. Mark's having a little bit of troubles here. He needs to get up and down, keep his even par. He still has, 10 or 11 holes left to play, so he could still make a move and, hold this thing off.
Yeah. And it's a really nice touch there, going through that tunnel to get inside of 10 feet, really.
That was about the exact same shot he needed on the last hole to get an easy birdie. Just threw it a little bit better this time. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite have the same reward.
Yeah, let's see if Jared Henderson can make something happen from this right side. Good run.
Yeah, that's a good bid. He got the Anheuser on it and about as much height as he could while still going under those limbs.
All right, Jared in for the bogey. He's going to take a little bit of a step back here.
Everyone was throwing that fire for a second, and then we've kind of had some stumbles coming down these last few holes.
Yeah, and it's going to get tighter here. These next couple of holes coming up are going to kind of squeeze in on you a bit.
Yeah, I mean, basically, this is the easy half of the course that we've just watched. We're about to go into the harder half of the course for sure.
Yeah. Good birdie there. So back-to-back birdies for Jacob. And he is now in a tie for first place with Mark Poole heading into the back.
Yeah, Jacob seems to play the first half of this course really well, and it has led him into a tie for first now.
Absolutely. So there you have it. That is the first half of this final round. Second half will be coming up your way right here on Run Productions. Matt, thank you so much for joining us for this commentary, bud.
Thanks for having me, Felix.
Absolutely. So head on back, guys. Back half of this final round is coming your way next on Run Productions.